stuck somewhere, and I only needed like direction because the taxi, like I ordered for a cab, yeah, and apparently he was on the other side of where I was standing,
Yeah.
and I didn't speak Russian,
Yeah.
so I only asked someone, please take the phone and just tell the driver
How to
to
get
please come here.
Yeah.
And I spoke to God knows how many people. No one was able to, and it was cold.
Hey there, welcome again to another episode of Africans Abroad, the podcast. It's your host, Christopher Eves Ricks. Listen, the other day I was at a gathering, a local gathering right here where I live in Cheyenne, where I got to meet this brother right here. Found out that he is from Ghana and visiting from Poland.
Yes.
So definitely, I had to have a talk with him. And here we are right now, actually at my place, and we're just gonna have a nice conversation. Don't usually do the face-to-face stuff, so this is nice. I would actually prefer this more, but yeah. But since that's not usually possible, we do what we can do.
Exactly.
But anyways, we are here, ladies and gentlemen. The next African Abroad on the Africans Abroad podcast is no other than my man, Kelvin.
It's really nice to be here, and
Welcome.
thank you.
I guess we're just gonna start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Let the audience know who is Kelvin and what do you do at the moment.
Well, my name is Kelvin Hansen, and I'm from Ghana, Accra.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I am born in Accra, but
Yeah,
like my family is from Cape Coast,
Yeah.
which is like the central part of Ghana.
correct.
I live in Poland at the moment, and I study and work as a model.
Yeah.
I study management, in, like the master's program.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been in Poland for about a year and counting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. So I think we're just gonna take it right back to when did you originally leave Ghana for Europe? I assume, obviously, you live in Poland right now, but I hear the accent, so, that means,
Yeah.
I believe you've been living in the UK, but when did you originally leave Ghana for the UK or for Europe for the first time?
For the first time, I was little.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really little. I was about 4 or 5 years old.
Uh-huh.
It was, first to the UK, but we went back to Ghana.
Right.
We lived there. That's where I had, most of my education.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there for a while, but, in between that, I used to, travel. It was mostly for summer vacations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to Ghana.
Yeah,
you mean?
I mean, from Ghana, to other
okay.
countries,
Okay.
summer vacations.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when I decided to leave, Ghana for good, it was about 5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm the kind of person where I seek, let's say, better in any situation that I do.
Uh-huh.
I mean, obviously the life I had in Ghana
was good.
is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But I've always been very curious to know what's like on the outside world.
Mm-hmm.
And because I kind of had that when I was little,
Mm-hmm.
I traveled a lot. I saw a few places. So I was still more curious.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So I moved back in 2017.
Okay.
I lived a bit in Belarus.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, but the life actually it wasn't my intention to live in Belarus. I wanted to move to the Netherlands.
Okay.
Yeah, but I just had a bit of a problem, so I couldn't do that.
Uh-huh.
So I said, okay, cool. I'm gonna use a different route, which was in Belarus. So in Belarus, unfortunately, I got stuck there because I had like a 1 year or 2 year plan, like to be there for a while and like move to other countries in Europe and stuff like that. But it wasn't how I planned, So I lived there longer than I expected.
How long?
I lived there for about 3 years.
Belarus.
In Belarus, exactly. My whole plan was to live there for a year.
Yeah.
Because I was either contemplating whether to live in Belarus or to go to the UK, things like that. Because even though I was interested in working in the modern industry, it wasn't really what I really wanted. Actually, the funny thing is it was my friends who kind of forced me into modeling.
And that was in Ghana, like.
Actually, it started.
Started in Ghana.
It started in Ghana, and it was very funny because there was one time when on a boat cruise. Yeah. And there was this fashion designer, who was into African couture, in African dress and fashion. So on this boat cruise, I was with my friends. So we were supposed to we left in the morning. We were supposed to come back back in the evening.
Yeah.
So we just there with my friends. We're just chilling a bit. Then I think part of the things that was supposed to happen there was like a runway thing, So we were just there. We're just chilling, just for the audience, But unfortunately, I think one of the models didn't show. Yeah. So the designer came up there. You were like, if there's anyone interested, and my friend just shouted my name, just like that, So the guy was up there he was like, who's Kelvin? And I was like that, And then he asked me to come up. And he asked me if I've ever done this before.
Yeah.
I said, nah, I've never done this before. He was like, don't worry, just follow them. You're gonna know what to do.
Yes.
I was like, okay, cool. So I think I really did it. I did it really well, and that was it. He took my number. I think I did another one for him, but that was it. I went like a long period. I didn't really do it again. So when I moved to Belarus, and I had a few photo sessions.
Yeah.
And that was it.
And that's how you started. So you moved to Belarus. I'm curious, where did you move from?
From Ghana.
From Ghana to Belarus.
Yeah, to Belarus.
And you said your intention was to live in the Netherlands.
Yes.
So why actually the Netherlands at the time? Was there a specific reason?
At that time, well, it's because of school. I wanted to study there.
Yeah.
When moving to Europe, I had no intentions of, working in the modeling industry. No. It was just school, work, and
Okay.
But in the Netherlands, it was strictly for education.
Yeah.
Yeah. But unfortunately, it didn't work out.
It didn't work out. And then you got an opportunity to move to
to
Belarus.
Belarus. Yes.
So how was it living there? What were you? Because a period of 3 years, that's a long period of time.
It is.
So what were you doing? How even your first impressions? Because as soon as you said Belarus, it looked bells ringing in my mind. I've been to a few Eastern European countries, but Belarus is.
I know.
So I really got to.
It doesn't create a good impression. I know.
No. So how was the first thing? Your first impression?
It was relatively cold, very cold.
Yeah.
And what I noticed the most were the people. They were very glum.
Yeah.
Didn't smile a lot. And the whole place was gray. Because I arrived somewhere in September, October. Yeah. But it wasn't that bad. But like I said, it wasn't that bad initially because I thought I was going to stay longer there. I just thought, okay, cool. I'm just gonna, just arrive here, just see what's happening here, then just see how I can move to another country. Yes. But when I noticed that I was gonna live longer than I expected, I was like, okay, I might just, make the best out of the situation. Because most of the people, like my friends, you know, who came before me, after me, during like my time there, they left. I mean, they couldn't stand it because
Why?
you know, Belarus is even though it's part of Europe, I feel it's not really part of Europe, you know, because it's a very close country, like really close, you know, and everything is like relatively monitored. And basically, yeah, when you're a foreigner, you don't really have that freedom to move about like you'd want to. Now it may be a little bit better because you know, there are people who are trying to understand that it's a normal way of life now. Yeah. But a couple of years ago, it wasn't. It was quite difficult. So most of the my friends, they came, they stayed for a couple of weeks, couple of months, and either they went back to Africa or you know, they went somewhere else.
So was it because of the modeling career that you stayed?
Well, in Belarus, yes. So when I got there and I realized like I'm gonna stay here like longer than I thought. Then yes, I said okay, let me just, you know, try and see how I can explore that. So yeah, it began there with, you know, a couple of photos like shoots and other things.
Okay, so at what point did you have to leave, or let's talk about after Belarus. It's kind of hard to say after Belarus. I feel like there's so much I want to dig into there, because I don't know. You said you're saying that several of your friends left the country. So I'm thinking that you were somewhat isolated in a way, or feeling you didn't have many people that looked like you, or that you could really call friends or something. And you were just pretty much moving, you know, hustling and for the career's sake.
It was really difficult. It was really difficult because you know, some people might think that the fact that you didn't have, you know, people of, you know, color there, so it might probably be like a niche market. But it isn't.
No.
You know, and it was really tough. And actually, how I even got my first, let's just say, gig. It was a friend, you know, shakily called me about it. It was for a makeup company, you know, and until now, I just don't know why it didn't blow up as they made us believe it was going to blow up. Because we worked like 3 days, like nonstop. And you know, like they showed us the contract and like that. They told us it was going to be like everywhere, but for some funny reason, it was scrapped without any explanation. You know, so yes, it was really, really difficult getting into that market. In that place.
But do you feel like it's a kind of it was a stepping stone for you to get to where you are now?
Definitely.
Because that's the story. That's the thing. Because you know, a person wouldn't want to put themselves through difficulties if they do not feel like they gained something out of it. So how did that work as a stepping stone, let's say, after Belarus?
Well, after Belarus, I have a friend here, and you know, I mean, in Poland. And you know, she told me that, why don't you try, you know, Poland, because just, you know, give it a shot. I was like, okay, no problem. Initially, I was a bit, you know, skeptic because, you know, Belarus, Poland, it's not that much difference. But the only difference is that at least Poland is quite open, I mean, compared to Belarus, you know. I was like, okay, I'm going to give it a try. And yes, I mean, I come here, I got my first, like, you know, contract, and they did seem like they know exactly what they're doing. But what's quite unfortunately, they are into commercials. I'm not a commercial model. I am into, you know, photos, runways, and things like that. Yes. So, but definitely, Belarus was a huge stepping stone.
So you actually got to move to Poland because of your career, and then you were able to get into school.
Yes,
and I think that's. So how did that actually happen? Like what's the because I feel like maybe there is an angle that you're trying to get to. You know, you're doing modeling, and then you're actually doing management in school.
Yes.
So what's the deal with that?
Well, initially it was just going to be the like the modeling.
Yeah.
I realized that I wanted to, achieve something more than just, modeling. So yes, and, based on what my agency was trying to explain to me, it wasn't going to be like an everyday work.
Right.
So I was like, no, I can't just, sit down, and I needed to do something. So yeah, I decided to, have my master's program, and I chose management.
And that's working well?
Yes,
Yeah.
so far so good.
Yeah. So it's if I remember correctly, it's Warsaw. You live in the city of Warsaw.
No, I work in Warsaw.
Work
I
in Warsaw.
live in Lublin. It's a
Okay.
2-hour drive from
Okay.
Warsaw. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a small city as well.
Yeah.
It's about 300,000 or more, a little bit over 300,000 people.
How's it living there?
In Lublin, it has its moments.
Because that's where you study.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I stay in Lublin, yes. And I mean, I think it has this small city vibe, where everyone is in a group. Let's just put it that way, either friends or in a family, like schoolmates, things like that. That's the only way you can be able to enjoy the city. An example, I've been to Warsaw a couple of times. You can basically decide to go out alone
yeah.
in Warsaw, and you can still have a good time.
Yeah.
You might face some difficulties in Lublin. You might actually start the night alone and finish alone. You understand? Yes, it's that's the kind of vibe Lublin has. But in terms of relaxation, you sticking to yourself, no trouble. Then yes, then it can give you that.
Kind of sounds like here.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Huh. I see it'll be interesting because I think when we were speaking at the party, I mentioned that I had a project in Poland, in Gdynia, where, but I used to go with a Polish coworker, usually, but there was this one time that I had to travel. I think I had to go 2 days before he did. And I kind of noticed that it was a bit different.
Exactly.
I did, because I had to go I had to go eat alone. I did try going out one time. Didn't do it again.
Exactly. Yeah. You need to be really brave.
Yeah. Because it was this mix in. You actually didn't know, at least for me, that it was a stranger there. I didn't know where I was going, so I had to ask a taxi driver, and not like it's a taxi driver. He just tells you what he thinks, and then you find yourself somewhere where, you do not feel very welcome.
Yeah, and actually, this is Warsaw.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had this kind of experience in a smaller city.
Yeah.
I think it would have been worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but living in the Eastern European countries, it has an effect on you in terms of how you see people. Yeah, if you're not really mentally strong, to understand that probably this is how they live, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Or you might think that this is how everyone lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the problem these days.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always. I know that when I was about to visit, because where I used to work, the northern part of Poland, I actually heard from Norwegians be careful.
Yeah.
Probably don't be on the streets alone.
Yeah.
They probably haven't seen a lot of black people, which was a fact, because I used to have these weird experiences where people would just stop me and just say stuff.
Exactly.
And so I kind of had to read it from the facial expression what they meant. And sometimes if my coworkers with me, he would be like, "Oh, they like you," or something. But it wasn't all the time I believed that. It was, it was some nice comment that was being made. However, I did very much have a lovely time. I met a lot of really, really nice people. There was actually this incident where I showed and a coworker. There wasn't a Polish one at the time, but there was a Swedish coworker. We found a blues club that we were going to go to.
Okay.
And so we show up to this blues club, and there was a poster up for this famous guy from the States that was going to, a black dude from the States that was going to perform the day after.
Okay.
And for some reason, and this, I kid you not, the guy had short dreadlocks, and I had kind of like maybe an afro, but these people, like, I was the guy. I was the dude that was going to perform. So people started buying me drinks, and I was cool and all until they wanted me to go and play a gig.
You did a guy.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so you have those kind of mixed experiences, and
yeah.
But yeah, I found it interesting, man. To especially Belarus. I know Poland. It's, you know, depending on the city where you are.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
it can be.
And one thing I also realized with the difference between Belarus and Poland is that, you know, in Belarus, yes, you don't have a lot of people, you know, who have seen like a black person. Yeah, but they are a bit more passive about that. Right. If they don't like you, they have a very passive way of showing it.
Okay.
In Poland, you don't have it like that. No. They are more aggressive.
Yeah.
You understand? In Belarus, you can actually see from a person that, I mean, you can have like one or two situations where a person might just, you know, bump into you, like in the subway or things like that. But in Poland, it's different. You know,
when it happens, it happens.
When it happens, it happens. You know that, you know, like they're very aggressive about it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, what is the plan? Like, you're modeling, you're studying, you're from Ghana. You know, it's one of the, at least what we can call a somewhat thriving nation within West Africa. Yeah. What's your plan? Do you have any plans for back home, for Africa, that maybe has something to do with modeling or what you're studying or something?
Well,
I hope it's not a question that's gonna make you get you to expose something that you're keeping. But
I'll try and be careful with my answers.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No. I mean, I feel that no matter how long you've left home, home is still gonna be home. You know. Do I have any plans? Yes. Does it entail Ghana? I'm not sure yet.
No.
Yeah, because, you know, I'm still not sure if I want to do this, you know, modeling thing for a long time. I know that it all depends on, you know, the kind of contract you have. Yes, but I am more, you know, interested in like the degree I'm going to have in management. Yeah. You know, and I still feel that I can have both careers. You know, with Ghana, I'm still not sure yet. I'm still deciding. I feel that I still have a lot to learn. Yeah. I still have a lot more to explore in Europe. Till I've done that, I'm not really thinking about Ghana for now. Okay. Yeah.
But do you see a future in Poland?
No.
No.
No. Because, I mean, I'm not going to say it's all dark and gloom in Poland. No. I mean, I've met some really, really nice people. Yeah. You know, who you know, I'm still, you know, grateful for, like for meeting them. But it's not a place that, I mean, I would like to be for a long time. No. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a place to start or it's a stepping stone, but I don't see myself there. No. I see myself in other places because, I mean, I've been moving about for a while. Yeah, so I'm just hoping that the next place I settle in is going to be at least for a while. And yeah. But I don't see it to be in Poland.
Speaking about that, do you have your eyes on anywhere?
Anywhere?
Anywhere else, like in the nearest future?
Yes. Norway, for example.
Norway, for example.
Yeah. Yeah. Norway, Switzerland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. These in Europe, yes.
Yeah. Yes.
These are the countries that, you know.
Yeah.
I would like to explore more. I mean,
Yeah.
it's my second time in Norway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would like to explore more.
Explore more.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I started to ask you the question. I started to think myself about that question. If I would have my eyes somewhere else, if I had the possibility of that, and I don't know. The only place my mind runs on is Canada.
Oh,
My wife.
I'm not forgetting Spain.
Spain?
Yes.
For you? Yeah, really?
Yeah,
How
I
come?
was there twice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved the weather,
Mm-hmm.
the people, the food. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely Spain. I would consider Spain.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. For me, Europe has. I don't know. Europe. If it's another country in Europe, I think then I'm just gonna hop to the continent back home. To be real,
Well-
because I feel like because there's this feeling about okay, in Norway I've gotten used to stuff, even the good and the bad.
Yeah.
But apart from the bigger countries or the bigger cities like London, Paris, or whatever, other countries in Europe it makes me feel like I just relocated again. Like kind of a young refugee kind of a feeling, and I feel like this time I actually pay my money
Yeah.
to get out here and have a good time,
yeah.
and some way somehow I get to feel like that, and I don't exactly like that feeling. So I think, and the reason Canada, not because my wife, not just because my wife is from Canada, but the first time I got to visit Canada, which was visiting her, I always had this thing about the U.S. Just life, how it seemed in the U.S. And visit the U.S. And you visited the U.S. You feel there's this feeling of at least what I got was nobody assumes where you're from until you tell them where you're from.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
But the U.S. is kind of on steroids, if you can't compare it as a person. Canada it felt like the U.S., just not on the steroids.
Yeah.
And that was the feeling that I had. It was like, this actually is. And plus, it's like Canada and Norway have been competing on the best place to live in the world for a couple of years. And it all has to do with the welfare system.
Exactly.
So that's, for me, that's what it is. Like if I had a choice to relocate, and it's not Africa, the only other place I can think about is
Exactly.
in the
yeah.
diaspora.
It is.
be
It
Canada.
is
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I feel that Poland is not a place
Yeah.
to like to have a future, because of like the welfare you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I mean, with most students who move there,
Yeah.
I mean, of course, it can give you a certain lifestyle,
Uh-huh.
but if you're a person who always seeks better,
yeah.
more,
Yeah.
you wouldn't really consider it, because
Correct.
of it's like it's no fault of theirs,
Mm-hmm.
of course.
Mhm.
It's probably how their system is or was designed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but as a person, you always need to find what's best for you.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So I personally don't feel that. I mean, it's a wonderful place. I mean, you've been there.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful place
Yeah.
to be, and
Yeah.
they have some really
Mhm.
nice people, lovely
Mhm.
people. Yes, and with some of the students, who move there especially from Africa, and they also do have or face this, problems with, if they don't have their own close friends,
Mm-hmm.
they end up, being stuck at home all the time.
Isolated.
They're
yeah.
just exactly isolated.
Yeah.
Either they just go out for like lectures, or like they go out for shopping,
Mm-hmm.
and they come back home,
Mm-hmm.
because they don't have that opportunity to associate, like
To
to associate with
socialize
people.
like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, because of how the whole system there is like. So if you're a person without a very strong mentality,
Yeah.
you might end up, you know, only associating yourself with your own people, or just stay alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the thing. It's
That's tough.
yeah, it is. It is tough, especially mentally.
Yeah.
You know, because you know other people might not like really admit it, but it takes a lot of mental strength. You know,
It does.
to leave like home. There was one time I had a friend ask me, like, it was like, when was the last time you felt real happiness? And I was like, I don't know the last time I felt real happiness. It's probably the last time I actually saw my family.
Yeah.
You know, because there is some sense of, joy
Yeah.
and excitement you get when you're with your family. Yes, even though there is the whole technology that you can speak to them and other things, but it doesn't.
It's not the same.
Yes, it doesn't feel the same. You understand? So you have a lot of people leaving homes, coming out here for like a better life, but there are other things that they need to deal with. You understand? And it's not all that rosy. Yeah, but.
And I think it's important to be clear about that, because for us Africans in the diaspora, whenever we get to talk to family or friends back home, they a lot of times they make it seem as if you're in heaven, man.
Exactly.
That's heaven on earth. I would do anything to be there.
Yeah.
And that's, like you say, is not always the case. Like the quality of life, and I think after living here, you get to re-examine what the quality of life really means to someone. Because back home, like I lived, I mentioned, I of course from Liberia, lived in the Ivory Coast for a few years when I was a kid, and Ghana for a few years, and those were tough days. And when I say tough days, I mean my parents didn't always have the hand to give, to provide everything we needed at times, everything we wanted, and at times everything we needed. However, I would never trade those memories for anything, because I was truly satisfied. I was truly happy. I was truly, we had that sense of, we did not know what tomorrow, we couldn't plan more than a day ahead in most cases, but that was fine.
Exactly.
For some reason it was fine. For here, if you can't plan a year ahead of you, you're stressed.
Yeah, you are stressed.
You don't know what's gonna happen. You're stressed. You know that if things don't go the right way, where you're gonna end up or something. It's just a whole lot happening with us, and it's interesting that you brought that up, because this Christmas season is when you find that most people struggle more mentally.
Exactly.
Especially people that are away from their families. Talking about Africans, students living over there. My sister is right now in the UK, in Ireland, and I was so happy when I got to find out that she found some people to hang out with, because she's had to work.
Exactly.
But Christmas, at least she wasn't alone.
Yeah.
And that's some of the things that we have to deal with. So I think it's really important when you mention that people back home understand that it's not all rosy. Yes, we have a lot of advantages living here. But I think most of us, it's kind of like when you were living in Belarus, like sacrifice this time maybe to be able to, for a better life, in the future.
In the future, yeah, that's true.
And maybe that better life might not be here.
Yeah.
Hopefully, in a way. And that's not to talk down on anything. It's just the fact that I think we feel more fulfilled if we're able to contribute whatever we've gathered here, to be able to contribute to our home country and our homelands, to where people actually really, really need whatever we have to offer.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, it's very interesting that you mentioned that, because it's a real issue.
It is a real struggle.
Yeah.
It is a real struggle. That's, you know, most people don't really say it.
No.
Yeah, because I think now they just decide to just sit on their own and fight with it, because they feel like if they come out, they might look weak.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I see that, especially, you know, when you go out, you know, you talk to people. Sometimes they might be a bit sluggish and they might bring something. I'd be like, oh, okay, so you're going through this as well.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So I feel, and there's one thing I also notice is that, you know, here in Norway, I'm not sure about other communities, but I mean, I've been to a few parties like, you know, you guys organized, and I like how united you guys are. You know, in Poland, for example, we don't really have that.
No.
You know, because even though we come together sometimes, you know, to hang out, but we still aren't united.
No.
So even if there is a problem, like, you know, someone is going through, he or she might not, you know, feel the urge to bring it out, because we're not united in any way. You get it? So it could be like a big factor, you know, that, you know, some way, somehow we can be able to, you know, try and tackle it. You know, because I know this for a fact that when you decide to, you know, do something and you have no one, or absolutely no one to share it with, it can really dump in your spirit. You might decide to even scrap up the whole idea and just not go on with it, just because you do not have that person to share it with. And it's all because what? You are either far away from home, or you just don't have enough, you know, close people to share this kind of things with. So yes, it is a real struggle living, you know, in this, despite, like you said, despite the advantages that it has, the mental aspect is a real big issue that we're all fighting with.
Yeah. Well, what would you tell a younger version of yourself about knowing where you are now, all that you've experienced in life? Let's say either a younger version of yourself or a younger African kid, a guy, a girl, somebody that's maybe has it on their mind, you know. I've heard it before that maybe they've heard it before that they could do modeling. That's a potential career for themselves, but they have to get to Europe to be able to do it, or maybe they live in Europe and trying to pursue this career for themselves. What would you say to them? Kind of a word of advice.
It's possible.
Yeah.
And you don't need to be in Europe to achieve it. I know for sure that there are quite a couple of, you know, like modeling agencies, you know, back home in Ghana and like that. It is possible to do what you feel like doing.
Yeah.
You know, you don't. Yes, there are more opportunities in Europe because of how the system is designed to give you that opportunity. As long as you're not lazy, as long as you're willing to work, it is going to work out for you. Unlike an example, you know, back in Africa, where in order for you to achieve something, you have to go through a person. In Europe or in the United States or in Canada, you don't have to do that. You can basically just walk up to an office and submit your portfolio or your CV, and you can actually get it. Yeah. So it's possible to achieve what you want to achieve as long as you're willing to put in the work, as long as you're, you know, willing to put in that much effort to see yourself get to where you want to be. And if before you leave wherever you want to leave, don't always try to assume the best. Sometimes you try to assume the worst case scenario, so that it doesn't catch you by surprise. Because I feel like sometimes the mistake, most people live in, back home, coming to this part of the world, is that they assume everything is like all fine. Everything is just perfect. And when they come here and they get struck by reality, they realize, oh my God, what am I going to do? That's the thing. So just, my advice for them is that just try to assume the worst as well, so that at least you can know how to get yourself out of it should it happen. I'm not saying don't think or don't plan for the best, yes, because you always need to, imagine yourself in that position. But it doesn't always have to be your only plan.
Right.
You should also plan for the worst as well. In that case, you can have both weapons, to help you fight. Yeah.
Like that. I like that. Yeah. So, I think it's a perfect time to pivot over to this segment that I call Is There a Balance? And I'm going to ask a couple of questions that just, right off the bat, just say what you think. The first one is kind of day-to-day challenges that you face within your everyday life right now. What's the most challenging things that you face within your everyday life? I feel like it's already been mentioned in a way, but I just want to hear what you would say.
For me, it's that lack of connection with the person, because I'm the kind of person that like to share stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'm a talker, I'm also a listener. And even though I have gotten to where I am now in life, but I still feel that we always need that person.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I want to make a decision. I know it's right, but I just need that second opinion.
Yeah.
It's been something I've been battling with for a while now. Yeah.
Oh, I think it's something that. Why's laughing? Because just I think it was just yesterday we were having that discussion.
Yeah.
That women usually tend to do way better when it comes to that than us men. And maybe even when you mention us African men, is even worse.
Exactly.
Because I would hear my wife like sharing lots of stuff with her friends.
Yeah.
And when stuff happened with me or between us, she was like, "Did you talk to your boy? Did you talk to this person? Like, you need to talk to somebody." And I believe that I, it wasn't a long time ago I found the right word for it, accountability.
Yeah.
Where you have people that you trust, the right people, to be able to tell you the truth if you're thinking weird, and if you're not thinking weird, or just be able to challenge you in a way,
Exactly, yeah.
and also to hold you accountable to something that this is what I want to do, and listen, I'm gonna do this, and then 2 months after you're backing up and like, hey, you said you were gonna do this. What's up? So I feel you there, and I feel like really us African men, we need to do better with that. Just check up on each other, and as soon as we find out that this is a person, this is a real person, that you can talk real stuff with. Just, yeah.
It is very important.
It's important.
Yeah.
So,
and sometimes we underestimate how important that can be.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm trying, struggling, trying. I think we all need to get better with that, for sure. Yeah. How about the privileges that you feel like you have because you live here in Europe? doing what you do?
Yeah. First of all, I mean, the modeling thing.
Yeah.
You know. Actually, a couple of years ago, I was thinking if I was still living, back home, if I would be pushed to, do this, even though I was influenced by my friends, but it would have, probably died.
Yeah.
Because I got, too distracted to do something else.
Yeah.
So that's like a big,
that you're able to focus
exactly
on
I'm able to focus on what I want to do. And it's not even just about having talents alone, because in Africa, I mean, we both know that there are a lot of talented people there, but they just don't have that opportunity to explore it. You understand? So that is a big major factor. The fact that any little thing that you believe, not even you think, you believe you can be able to do, there is, or there are people or firms or companies who are willing to help you take that like a step forward.
Further, Okay. All right. What's the worst? Thinking about living in Europe, I mean, you live in several countries. What's the worst thing or experience you can think about, like moment, if there's anything that comes to mind?
What I can...
Please let it be Belarus.
Actually, it was Belarus.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Belarus. I was stuck. I think this was a couple of weeks, living in the country.
Yeah.
I was stuck somewhere, and I only needed like direction, because the taxi, I ordered for a cab, and apparently he was on the other side of where I was standing, and I didn't speak Russian, so I only asked someone, please take the phone and just tell the driver
how to get
please come here.
Yeah.
And I spoke to God knows how many people. No one was able to, and it was cold, and after I got home, thank God, I was just, sitting on my couch, reflecting on the day. I was like, I was really sad. And I just realized that, oh my God, I just can't find the person to even help me make a phone call.
Use your own phone.
Use my own phone, not even your own phone.
Yeah.
What is going to happen should I have a big problem?
Yeah.
I'm basically screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the only thing I can really think about.
That's a good one.
And what makes it, or what made it, really sad was the fact that it was something very little. Like, it's the tiniest of things, yet you couldn't find anyone do it. And there was one other situation I had. Funny enough, also in Belarus. There was a drunk lady, an old lady, in the middle of the street, and I was driving, and she was, I think she was drunk and, trying to cross, where the cars were, going. And she couldn't find anyone to help her because she fell. And I wasn't sure if I should do that because I was in traffic. I didn't know how people were going to react. The fact that they didn't do it, and me wanting to do it.
Maybe it's actually breaking a law.
Exactly. I was like, so when I kept driving, I kept looking through the side mirror if no one helped there. The cars actually stopped. They waited to get up. Then they moved. Yeah, it was really sad. It was really sad to witness that moment.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Let's try to balance that up a bit with the most memorable act of kindness that comes to mind. Maybe it's in Belarus too.
It's gonna be a bit unfair if all the bad things I said was about Belarus and not even good things about the place,
Yeah.
Act of kindness. I mean, I've had a couple. I'm trying to think. Is it act of kindness, from friends or from strangers?
It could be from stranger, from friend, just whatever that comes to mind that's memorable.
I think quite recently, when I was leaving Warsaw, to Oslo, and I'm not sure if you guys have this car system here called BlaBlaCar.
No, I know of it. Yeah.
Okay. So I picked the guy up from actually he picked me up from Lublin. Then he asked me, am I gonna get off? I was like, actually, I'm going to Magdalene because the airport is about 30-40 minutes drive from the capital city. So he was like, oh, okay. So he asked me to text him the address, but I had already booked another one. But apparently, the guy I booked, he wasn't responding. So I was a bit, frustrated at the back because I only had like maybe 2 hours, to catch my flight. And he asked me if everything's okay. Like he was waiting for me to text him the address, and I was like I explained the whole situation to him, and he was like, "Don't worry, where exactly?" I said, "Magdalene." He's like, "Okay, no problem." And the guy drove 30 minutes, 40 minutes. He didn't charge me nothing extra. Yeah, I was like, oh my God. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. And he was with his girlfriend, and actually he did that.
Yeah.
That's really nice of him.
Yeah. Nice. 3 words or phrases that you would use to describe your life experiences so far.
3 words.
Or phrases, yeah.
Okay. It's been exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exciting.
Maybe you could help throw out one word from your story that I've heard so far.
Yeah.
I would say brave.
Brave, exactly. Actually, I was thinking of putting up the last one. Yeah.
Okay.
Exciting, brave, and I think it's something I'm still, which is like experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still experiencing.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. All right. Last question, man, and then wrap this up. Is the model Kevin a single man and ready to mingle? For all the ladies out there that's wondering,
I was really hoping you're not gonna ask me that.
I'm not gonna ask you that. I usually feel the room, to find out if there's something that I could.
I'm gonna be very modest about this answer, though.
Yeah.
Single. I think it's 50-50.
Yeah, it's complicated.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's complicated. I think I'm still in the process phase.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
I'm still in the process phase because, I'm hoping it's gonna, my status is gonna change soon.
Yeah.
It's still in the process.
Okay. Well,
I'm just put it that way.
I hope whoever needs to be doing the work does the work, and if not, if you're out there and think you can do the work, I'm gonna have his handle, his Instagram right under in the description box. So take it from there.
All right.
Yeah, man. So thank you so much for doing this.
Welcome.
It's been a wonderful conversation.
And thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, sure, for sure. So that was it for this time, folks. Africans Abroad. Until next time.